Greetings from the void. This is Journey Through Miro. I am Nola Moore, and these are my boys. Say hello, boys.
Hello, boys.
Hello, boys.
And they are now
Boy.
going to introduce themselves, starting with my fiance.
Oh, wait, I turned the wrong way. Oh, I had to show off the shirt and I ripped out the thing allowing you to hear me. I'm Steven Stowell, Steven Stowell on TikTok, LegendJedi100 on YouTube. I'm Steven. Also have a book, but also related to D&D, as I have a player here as Sleepy Tail. I also run a campaign called The Tombs of Time, which will hopefully be resuming as soon as possible this month, maybe this weekend, if that works for anyone. We'll see. Um, it's a fun adventure. We got characters like this ma'am here and this man's here and a few other fun-loving peoples. We've just unfortunately not been able to get games in all year, and I've been behind on my editing. And I'm moving soon. Anyway,
Which is
I'm
just
done.
basic. Which is basically the sort of thing that happens whenever you plan D&D campaigns. People say, "Oh, I can make it," and then suddenly, actually,
It's a pretty nice campaign you've got planned there. It'd be a shame if someone were to not be able to show up to it.
I guess I'll go next. Hello, I am a fiance, but not the fiance. I'm actually going to be not a fiance in around 17 days. So I'm excited. But who am I? I am the Black Doctor, also known here on Journey Through Miro as Balgroth the Dark, Paladin of Vengeance, and pretty much almost all things violent. As you have said already, Stephen, I participate in the Tomes of Time with the illustrious Holy Tortle, Donatello. And I run my own social media accounts. I run a TikTok and a YouTube and an Instagram under pretty much the same name, The Black Doctor. So, yeah, check out my stuff.
I was a fiance at one time. Not anymore. Oops. Anyway, I am at Del Jitsu on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram in that order. And I play the role of Isaiah Yeager, Magus extraordinaire. And yet every single session, people always be hating on me because I'm stacking platinum to thine ceiling and riding around on 55-inch wooden spoked wheels on my wagon. So, at least it's
If
a
you're
Weird
single,
G-Wagon.
just say so.
Weird flex, but
Listen, that was
okay.
the joke last time, and I just joked about my failed engagement. So I think that's enough. We don't want to run the theme into the ground too quickly.
Oh,
I've
so
already
you
run
did
the
say so.
engagement into the ground. So
I'm
Oh,
just saying,
so
it sounded like you were trying to free lib your own version of Al Yankovic's Amish Paradise.
no, man, it's all about Riley Freeman and Charles Barkley being a Kendrick Lamar level hater.
I was gonna say, so you did say so. You were basically the equivalent of Metro "Shut Up and Make Some Beats," and you did.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
All right. Who can give me a recap of what happened last session?
War.
We fought a
Small
prince and he
skirmish.
fell down. I tracked him down and dragged him back. I don't know why I'm doing that musically.
Yeah, I got hit in the face with a fireball
Mm-hmm.
and almost died
Mm-hmm.
by a cowardly pirate.
Okay.
I mean, I survived.
Yes.
Well, I would hope.
We had
But
a
yeah, Yip is right. We got the prince, and I believe I cut off a few of his fingers.
Did we get that
Bent them
far?
backwards.
You
Bennett,
bent
yeah,
them
you
back. You
broke.
broke them.
he
Broke.
did try to kill himself, but we didn't let that happen.
Yeah.
No. Oh
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you healed him, and it healed his broken fingers as well.
Great. Now I'm gonna have to break them again.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Oh man!
Young
All
boy.
right, this time I'm breaking the arm.
All right.
Dale, you were gonna say something.
No, I was just going to give a similar recap to what we said.
Okay. That's an inspiration for Balgroth and Yip Yip.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what? So you guys captured the prince, and it's still very much in the middle of the night, almost the next day. What are you guys going to do with this prince that you've tied up?
Hmm. That's actually a very good question. Uh, just to refresh my memory,
Mhm.
it's pretty much confirmed that the old king's dead, right?
Well, he said it
Said that.
at
Right.
some point.
You're not allowed to say it if it ain't the truth.
I believe he said he is. He thinks the king is dead.
Hmm.
I guess let's try to find the king.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
Can we try the room where he used to be?
Okay, so you guys walk through the castle, I guess, trying to find this king. Do you just drag Jacoby behind you the entire time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
We've
The
got
question is, who's
Jacoby
carrying him?
and a disc with a chest.
How long does that disc last?
I can refresh it every hour for free.
Okay.
For free.
No charge.
Um,
I have two.
so you guys walk around and you try all the doors, either locked or unlocked, that you can find. And there's honestly not that many within the castle, because you've already been in a couple from that time that you broke in and were searching for something, searching for clues. You can't really find where the king's quarters are, and Jacoby has not really said a word as you guys walk around.
I check his coin purse.
His coin purse?
No, sorry, that was a dumb joke.
Okay.
His quarters, coin purse.
Ah,
I'll see if he has a wallet on him.
you want to search him?
Yeah.
All right. You find not much, but you do find one of those like wax stamps that has the royal insignia on it,
Hmm.
and 3 gold pieces, just kind of in his pocket.
Man,
Excellent.
this guy's kind of broke. How are you a prince and you're this broke?
Are you saying that to
You are
him?
broke.
Yes.
He kind of just like looks up at you, and tries to like push his hair out of his face with his hands tied behind his back. I wasn't expecting to be tied up today.
Well, surprises happen to everyone. Yours just happened to be a little bit more spicy than normal. Don't worry about it. Oh, Isaiah, you can
Yes.
peer into his mind, right?
I believe I can, yes.
Maybe that's how we figure out where the king is.
Yeah. I will I'll detect some thoughts.
Recall.
Thought. It's one of
Okay.
my favorite videos I made. Drop pipe.
Um,
Where's the king?
Raise a glass.
as you ask that, so in his head, you hear that same kind of whispering that you hear every time you try and look in his mind, but it seems much weaker and like slightly more aggressive this time. As also you see these flashes of a hallway that you haven't been down in your time in this castle, with a false wall where you have to pull a torch to reveal the door behind it.
Ooh. Let's try to find that area then.
All right. Can you guys roll an investigation?
It is time for investigating.
Oh, my favorite snack.
Why are you moving my fireball around?
Oh, this.
Why is there a fireball on top of us? Right? Why is there a fireball on top of us?
You just see Jacoby like shove a walkie-talkie out of the way. No. So you guys figure out that this hallway, you haven't seen it because it's part of the servants' hallways, the time that you've been down them with the jester. And you find that quite easily. And through that way, you find the wall, which is the false wall, and has the kind of switch on it. Do you guys pull it?
I will mage hand it.
Alright. Jacoby's still being dragged behind you.
Yes.
Yes.
You pull the false torch, and the wall kind of shakes for a second as it pushes itself inside and slides down into the floor. And you see a very grand bedroom, which is decorated very sparsely, but with very nice, lavish things. And upon a large canopy bed, you see the lone figure of the king laying there with the blankets up to his chest. And the mask, the crane kind of, what's the word? Venetian, I believe, mask laying beside him on a velvet cushion. And when he's not wearing it, you can see the extent of the carnage that has been laid to this man's face. His eyes are completely gone. The skin has become grown over through a... You can tell that magic has been tried on this man, but magic could not grow his eyes back. There are patches of yellow and green around where his ears... Parts of his ears remain. And his lips, similar to his eyes, there is a dry covering of skin. And his whole face is aged and sunken against the skull. And the only movement you can perceive from him is the slow up and down of his chest as he breathes.
So he's on like a bed that's too high for Yip Yap to see, right?
I would say the bed is maybe like 2 feet off the ground. He's 2 feet off the ground.
Yip Yap just looks like, oh,
Very rude.
Very astute. Yip Yap.
Hold the prince.
What?
Make sure he doesn't get away. So approach the king.
You do what to the prince?
I just ask him to hold the prince so he doesn't get away.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I grab the prince and basically hold him slightly up so he doesn't, move.
Nice. I would like to... Does the prince dispute this?
The Jacoby kind of looks up at the king for a moment before rolling his eyes and huffing annoyance as Balgroth holds him still. And as you walk up to him, the king very slowly... There's a giant moth outside my window. The king very, very slowly lifts his arm and hand up from the blankets. Despite the skin being very shriveled and clinging to the bone of his fingers, there are still rings on his hand. Rings that resemble different patrons, gods, deities. And he holds it up.
I whisper, kiss the ring, you fool.
Is this like a kiss the ring scenario, or like...
He's just holding up his hand. It's shaking from the effort.
Can I hand him the bell?
You can.
You'd have to
try to hand him the bell.
It.
You hand him the bell, and it kind of rests in the palm of his hand as he slowly places it on the bed and then raises his hand again.
Get the ring, you fool!
No. I'll hold his hand.
Okay. As you hold his hand, can you roll a wisdom saving throw?
Oh no. Oh no.
Hold his hand, huh? That's pretty
No diddy.
Fellas, is it gay to hold an old man's hand?
Fellas!
Is it gay to hold a dying man's hand?
Given
You're
the amount of
literally
old
touching an old man!
given the amount of old men who have seemed to hit on me on live by insinuating I'm of that persuasion, I mean,
You go to hold his hand, and for a second, you feel this sort of as if a migraine is about to happen in your mind. You feel that tense pressure, but then it quickly fades away as the king very slowly shakes his head and removes his hand from yours and reaches out for the closest next party member.
Can I take the bell and start ringing that sucker?
Yep
Yes.
will touch his hand.
The ring makes no sound, and as far as you can tell, nothing changes because the king cannot talk.
Right. I'm going to say, can you hear me?
And your voice is not gibberish to the other parties. Yip Yap, as you take his hand, can you roll a wisdom saving throw, please?
Can I choose to fail my saving throw?
You can.
Okay.
No. 400 damage.
Yip Yap, you waddle up to the king, the side of the bed, past Isaiah, and you gently take the hand of the king as you feel this tense pressure in your head of a sort of oncoming migraine. But it doesn't. The pain quickly fades to this sort of just calming sort of pressure as you hear a raspy voice in your mind. My grandson has created a mental block from my messaging, but hold fast to me, and we could commune despite his misguided efforts.
Oh, okay.
Do you relay any of that?
Yip Yap. What did you hear?
Yip Yap just holds his hand, and you guys see his eyes go.
He said the prince made blocked his mental, but by holding him fast, I don't know. I can hear him though.
Okay.
Are you okay? Hang in there.
I still holding the prince.
Mhm.
I reach across Yip Yap and sort of place my hand under the king's hand and sort of edge over and kiss his rings.
Okay. As you kiss his rings, he nods in a kind of solemn. What is the word I'm looking for? Acknowledgement. And you can make a wisdom saving throw if you'd like.
Okay.
Bro, you should totally choose to fail.
Well, anyway, so
You gotta fail.
Yip Yap and Balgroth, you both
I knew I
hear.
wasn't going to do well anyway.
Yip Yap and Balgroth, you both hear that sort of raspy tone answering Yip Yap's kind of question about him being okay. I shall meet my fate soon enough, but I am glad to be in the company of strong-willed friends.
You honor me with your words, dear king.
I literally only found out people could die of old age. I think today still. I don't think it's been a day.
It's like tonight.
My whole concept of life has been turned upside down by your current trajectory. It's really scary.
That's a big word for Yip Yap.
That's a big word for Elmo.
Dear King, Your Excellency, as you could probably see, we have had an eventful day and night. As you might have surmised, your jester is dead. Your other grandsons are either unaccounted for or have left, and now we have captured your other one, as he was attempting to take over in your stead. What would you have us do?
I can see the tribulations you have been confounded in tonight by the path my grandson has taken. He is blind to his own actions, and all objections to his plans fall upon deaf ears for him. His heart has corroded from envy. He is but a child I loved and cared for in my daughter's absence, and I am saddened by his perverse desire of power. But a child left to his own devices is a child driven by want over need, and every child must find punishment of that which meets the disgrace.
I
And what
only understood like 12 of those words.
and what might that punishment be, Your Excellency?
Punishment.
Isaiah hearing only half
Oh,
this.
I'm only here. Yeah, that's what.
Oh yeah, can I kill your son?
What?
Like
His son's already
creatively.
dead, Yip Yap. This is his grandson.
Oh,
I suppose we could burn the tree, but
you see, in Kobold, those words are kind of a bit muddier than they are in Common.
because of
I,
incest or just lack of vocabulary.
I finally noticed that Isaiah doesn't hear a single word. I motioned to him to grab the king's hand.
This brain's not for other people.
So do you not grab the
I
hand?
trust you, Balgroth.
All right then.
All three of you see as the king kind of lays his head back into the pillow, and a very strained, wheezing sort of noise leaves the gaps of the remains of his nose before Yip Yap and Balgroth hear, "No mask shall be worn in my private room. No secrets persist here. I shall see your true selves as you shall see mine." And although he has no eyes, his head kind of tilts to the side, and Balgroth, you feel as if he is looking at you.
His sort of eyes glow slightly, but then slowly go back to normal as he slowly releases the prince, and he takes off his mask to reveal the skull.
As you kind of drop Jacoby to the ground, or however you were holding him,
Mm-hmm.
the prince kind of curls in on himself and sort of winces as if he is in a sudden great amount of pain, but he makes no noise. And you hear the king once more in Yip Yap and Balgroth's head. "Yes, the face of death has come to see me at last."
It's you.
Oh no, that's just Balgroth.
Talk about you.
I know he's talking to
You're
you.
typing hard.
I don't know how to feel about this.
This is a friend.
Your Excellency, I was not intending to come for you.
You see, he's really nice. He's kind of like my surrogate dad.
We never intend for anything. We are all on the path creation marks for us. And soon I shall meet the end of my path, and with that shall mark the end of the true history of my bloodline. Would you be so gracious as to continue on my story and legacy in your minds?
Oh boy, to become a surrogate grandson. Oh boy.
I would be honored, but I would hope to know what that would entail for us in our journey.
I just
Right.
do wish for my history to die with me.
I mean, not to be rude and all, but kobolds, we kind of tell our tribe history and song, and be an interesting anecdote to. No.
What?
Oh yeah.
I,
Oh
I
oh
can't.
oh.
I
I'll,
can't hear his side, can I?
I'll
You
honor you in a kobold way.
you can't hear the king's side. You can hear.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go put my hand on there. I just heard the most outrageous
Okay,
ad
now
hoc
I'm
statement.
interested. Give me this.
Now you have my concern.
Do you
I'll let him in.
purposely fail? Okay, yeah. um, you all three hear the king in your mind. May I show you three the true history of my family in this kingdom, for you to carry on, for I know no one else will when I'm gone.
In Yip Yap's mind's eye, like the SpongeBob room with all the SpongeBobs, that all the Yip Yaps run out and one just comes in with a stenographer's keyboard.
All right. All three of you, the raspy voice sort of leaves your heads as there is a sort of flash of images in your mind. And instead of words, you see a history book laid out in your mind's eye with just a simple wave as part of the cover. And pages rapidly flip before they fall upon the image of a handsome Triton with a beautiful human queen standing on an island of vibrant flowers and strong palm trees. And you hear the voice of the king return. Once there was peace between the land and the sea, a treaty of the flowing vast and the strong Tellurian. The mighty queen who founded this country was lifelong friends with the prince of a rapidly spreading oceanic kingdom. But the next generation rarely follows in the footsteps of the prior. And the pages flip once more to show a lovely woman of the sea replacing the trident with a human man who seems very offstandish and uncomfortable in his pose. And where they stand now, the flowers and the trees have faded to only a pale sand that seems quite familiar to you three. And one page flips to see that man holding a child with a human face but finned hands and feet. And you hear the voice again. Written history tells the idyllic truth for our blood, for what truly occurred. And the page flips, and the baby is held by a trident woman in coral armor. The lady passes the child to a human boy who seems in a way familiar, but you can't exactly pinpoint how. And he leaves from view as the woman sinks a knife into her chest and falls into the sand, as you slowly see from her skin and the armor she wears, a stark white tree sprouts from her and grows into the familiar bare branch tree that you have seen quite many times before. And you hear the king's voice. I took my half-sister away where she could flourish into what she was meant to be, free and strong. And I took the throne. I married. The pages flip rapidly once more, and you find yourselves in a first-person perspective, and you see a young man in front of you practicing sword-fighting techniques on a dummy before he is, in a blink, into a young man wearing a crown. And a woman stands beside him, a woman whose face you cannot quite make out, before she leaves, and where they stood are three young men, children. And although they are much younger in this vision, you recognize in the middle Jacoby, and to his left, Seth, who then vanishes as the other two age into the adults. At least Jacoby, as you have seen. And as this vision fades with this last image, the king's hand becomes weaker and slips very slightly from your grasp. My grandsons, my bloodline. I cannot stifle the swell of pride I have for them. It is my killing sin. I welcome death and Data with his train of souls to take me back within the web of creation. I do not fear afterlife. I welcome my audience with the great creator. And you hear that soft wheezing exhale again as his grasp fully becomes limp, and you are just holding the dead hand of this royal laid out before you. And above him, very briefly, there's a shimmer in the air as that the light above him, the dark moonlight, coalesces into a form of a regal yet aged man. He gives a nod to you three. He gives a sorrowful glance to his grandson, who lays on the floor, curled up, shaking, before this image vanishes.
Yip Yap breaks the silence by unscrewing his flask, taking a long drag.
Which
So what is
one?
A normal one.
Okay.
what is the physical status of the two bodies?
The king is dead. You no longer feel a pulse in his wrist. Jacoby is making these noises as if he is softly crying while sort of tied up and curled up on the ground.
I'm going to pick up the bell, and not that I'm going to do anything, but does the king have anything nice on him?
You
Like a
can't
ring?
tell. Only his arms and sort of the top half of his chest and up are not under the blanket.
Well, what do we do with this one? I say, gesturing to Jacoby.
Uh, as I sort of take the king's torso and places his hands across his chest, and then just gesture as if I'm closing his eyes and says a soft prayer for the Tellurian to carry him into his place of rest. I look at Jacoby with pity. I don't know. He deserves death, but he's the only existing descendant that we know who could even rule this kingdom.
Yeah. Well, I suppose you're saying Seth couldn't.
Well, you remember what he said. He
Yes,
wouldn't return.
he did say that. And what of the other brother?
He hardly knows anything that's going on. He's been oblivious this whole time.
Perhaps. So are you suggesting we let Jacoby go forward with his coronation?
I don't know. I pick up Jacoby, I guess, as he's sort of, half crying, and look into his eyes. Even in your even in everything you've done, your father still had pride for you, and he had pity for you. What do you make of this?
My father was a coward, and my grandfather was an old idiot who was always up on his high horse. You will not find better judgment in my brother Valen than you would me. And when I have that crown on my head, I will make sure all three of you never see the light of day again.
A pretty nice jugular you got there. It's a shame if someone were to pop it.
I would rather be on the train of death than live a life without sitting on that throne where I belong.
Where you belong. Well, you know what? Let's put him where he belongs, Balgroth. Come on, bring him.
What do you have planned?
Come on. It's our duty.
Okay.
Also, is there a crown anywhere yet, or no? Do we not know where it would be?
The king did not have a crown on him. All he really had was that mask. The crown you saw him briefly wear, the one of kind of a pearlescent color, you can't find it. It's not in the room.
I'm gonna cop the mask as we leave.
Okay.
I'm going to put my mask back on.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go to the throne room.
Okay.
Back to the throne room.
We're gonna Balgroth.
Yes.
Put him on his throne.
I toss him, basically sort of making an unarmed strike onto the throne.
Jesus.
Set him down with every ounce of
Oh gosh.
Uh-huh.
Or
I mean,
to the
An
throne.
11 doesn't hit.
I know. I'm just doing it just because.
You
For
feel
the principle of the thing.
restrained. Does
you hear
not
his
hit.
like spine make that popping noise, but he's still present.
Now he's in like very poor health, right?
He's in very poor health, and he is also tied up. Yes.
So
What are
we're
you
gonna sit
planning
him up on the
doing?
throne. Balgroth, cut the king loose.
Balgroth reaches out, takes his blade of vengeance, sort of drapes it.
Not
or
for
sort of-
life.
Yeah, I know. He drapes it off of the side of the throne and then flicks one of the ropes, which causes the entirety of it to fall.
So, as he's sitting on the throne, Your Majesty, King Jacoby, Lord of the Realm, eldest survivor, congratulations on your ascension. And now, as the liege of the land, I call you to account for the great evils that have been committed in your land's name. And I bring you now justice.
Bro, literally causing him a magic missile. Hey, yo! Shouldn't we be doing this in public where people know what's going on?
Rolled a magic missile with a lowest possible damage.
Well, there's 3 of them, so he gets hit with 6 damage.
Jacoby kind of rolls his head back as you say that. His eyes glazed over as he looks up at that stone sword above the throne and the magic missiles. Is there a save or something? Are they
Yeah,
automatic?
it's auto hit.
They just hit.
Yeah. The magic missiles sink into his body, and you can describe how he dies.
I was gonna say, may your reign be fruitful. And yeah, the 3 darts are just gonna go in, and they're gonna circle out and around, and 2 of them are gonna pierce through the neck, and 1 more directly through the heart.
Yeah.
Balgroth stabs his blade of vengeance into the ground and then kneels, resting upon it and putting his head upon it, sort of mockingly says with a smirk, "God save the king."
Too late. You should pray harder, Balgroth.
Raise a glass to freedom. Raise a glass. Raise a
Glass
glass.
of what?
We sadly are once again in an issue of Succession of the Throne.
After Jacoby has fallen limp and he starts to bleed out onto the throne, that trapdoor behind the throne snaps and creaks open, and
Uh-oh.
you all look around to see, and you see Seth wearing different clothes, kind of crawls up and peeks out. Am I too late? And we're gonna call break
Um,
there
Too late for what, my boy?
Okay.
for about 10 minutes.
Am I too
Okay.
late to save my brother? I have
Am I
this
too
spell
late?
that will break his curse.
Did I do it? Did I do it?
am I too late? From a certain point of view.
Oh, you did it all right.
Raise a glass? Raise a glass. Glass or what? Orange
Apple juice.
apple juice. Mm,
So
delicious.
I'm part of another campaign that we just had our first session,
Mm-hmm.
and the DM. I don't know. I think there was regret over this later, but she started us off as me having like basically a very conflicting relationship with two of the characters. And so like I was able to by the end of it finagle it to something workable, and there's a bunch. It was fine with everyone else, but at the end, the two people felt super bad for having to be haters the whole time. It was really funny.
I
So I
hate
want
the
to
way
send
that
them.
you talk.
I know I wanted to send them that, but like they're actually gonna cry. Like
I
it
hate
took
the
like
way that
3
you
breaks
dress.
to apologize. I hate the way you talk.
I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress.
Gosh.
That's great.
Did you see the guy who put up the TikTok of Kendrick reacting to RDC World skits about it?
No, I
Oh,
haven't.
it's pretty fun. Let me see if I can find it. It's because you know RDC World, right?
I love RDC World.
Yeah, they're tight. Actually, I have a friend who is like a decent sized YouTuber, and he's thinking about buying a house for his business to also use for filming, and I was telling him how RDC World does that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we shall see. So I may have turned him on to them. Oh, let's
What
see.
did it, why would you people are stupid for no reason. A
Huh.
Wellington Chipotle mukbang. Why would you ruin a perfectly good Chipotle burrito
Wellington.
by turning it into a beef Wellington?
Why would you ruin a perfectly good peace of mind by making a mukbang?
Because people are weird and people like stuff in their faces for no reason.
Pause.
What?
What?
Ends up with a kid with no man. You let her hit it raw. You didn't have second thoughts. Now
Oh,
you're a single mom. Now you're a single mom.
I largely missed that trend, but
He said he had his kid.
dang.
Don't
Yeah,
care if he
I
stays
love
or
that Michael
not.
Hearn is leaning into the meme and is like really taking it far. What is
That's so
love?
good.
Maybe that could be my TikTok comeback in like 2 months. Is just like do a bunch of Michael Hearn super edgy memes.
Oh no, bro. They'd love you. Already see you making another video. Be careful, Kendrick is listening.
Boom.
This man is a mafia. He knows.
They do a really good Mark impression at the end too.
He does, bro.
Gosh.
You wouldn't do me wrong because you like me, right, Mark? Yeah. No, there's a picture of him with Drake. No,
Yeah.
no, bro, no. The ideas I gave you.
For some reason, I thought that Mark was from Maryland, from Baltimore, but he's from Texas. So I don't know how I
Wow.
came to that very erroneous conclusion.
You literally went in the wrong direction.
For real.
Hey, that's a band.
Also, who is the guy that used to be in RDC World and isn't now?
I don't
Because
remember.
I thought that Afyong was gone and Ben was gone, but they're still doing stuff. But like he had a rap years ago about people leaving.
Oh, no idea.
I'm gonna have to Google this right now.
I've been crying and crying.
Yeah, they say Ben left, but he's definitely there. Okay, he's back. Okay, they apparently he left and came back.
Because he knew his Uncle Kenny was right. I could DM you a script.
Okay, yeah, because I remember the goodbye rap.
his scream is great. I tell you what, the phrase "I remember when you were conflicted" is going to be the threat of the century. I promise you, bro.
I can't wait till I want to listen to the to Epic now,
Yes,
but I want to listen to it with a certain someone who wants to wait until it's all released before we
it's
listen
gonna
to
be
it.
until next year when the second saga releases. We still got like what 4 sagas to go. Like that's 20 more songs.
5 songs a saga.
Sorta, I think. Sorta. Let me check. Let me check.
So I bought a new keyboard thinking I would use it for my office, but like I
Mhm.
can't decide if I like it better than my home keyboard now. So I'm very conflicted.
Mm. So it's
Try
actually 9 sagas. 5 sagas in Act One, 4 in Act Two. With the first saga aiming to be released by the end of yeah, the first saga was released by the end of 2022, and the others didn't, and the whole Act One didn't get released until 2021. I mean, 2024. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Oh, well, I'm glad I just looked at my subscriptions.
What?
I just realized I never actually unsubscribed from Minilad. If you
It
know
was
who
Mini
that
Lad.
is. Yeah, he's a YouTuber who got ousted for the same thing a lot of Minecraft YouTubers get ousted for.
Uh
I was just looking through and I was like, oh, what's this random name? Oh, he rebranded. Oh, this is hell.
oh. Mm. So yeah, there's 4 sagas left. There's the Thunder Saga, the Wisdom Saga, the Vengeance Saga, and the
Oh,
Ithaca Saga.
that's Vengeance Saga is just our campaign.
Because there's I'm not sorry for loving you, Dangerous, Charybdis, Get in the Water, and 600 Strike. Uh, there's 2 songs that haven't been released, or at least have not a title has not been given, and those are for the next saga that's going to be appearing, the Thunder Saga, and I think that's going to be pretty awesome because it's song 21 and song 22, and then you have Scylla, Mutiny, and then Thunderbringer. I'm so excited. I'm so freaking excited because like the last song in the Thunder Saga and the last song in the Wisdom Saga are, I think, to be honest with you, going to be some of my favorites because it's Thunderbringer, where basically, Zeus gets his own song, and then you have God Games, which have some of the best animatics out so far. And I'm like, this is gonna be so good. This is gonna be so freaking good. I'm sorry, I'm just yapping for no reason.
Hey, yapping's all good, man.
Something's got to fill the silence.
So, Yip Yap, how much of the Epic Saga have you actually listened to?
I listened to the one that I did the animatic for, and I started listening. I listened very loosely to like I think either the start of that one or the very first song, and I went, wait, I want to watch this with Noel.
The Horse and the Infant?
Then I guess I didn't listen to that
All
one.
right, my brothers. Well, no, that's the first song in the saga. All right, my brothers, listen closely. Tonight we make the Trojans pay. 10 years of war, they killed us slowly. But now we'll be the ones who slay. Meanwhile, he needs to learn some morals and values.
I'm sorry, I'm subscribed to Ryan Reynolds?
When did you do that?
I don't know. I didn't know he had a YouTube channel.
Oh, right. You did the epic video on YouTube, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay. Let me check. Yeah, no longer you. Yeah, so that's you got all the way you did the one for the Underworld saga, and you didn't listen to the one right before it.
Trails of betrayal and bronze.
I love that, like, all these Christians on, like, not by dating, but like on like Christians asking about dating are always like, is it bad that I want to be attracted to my future spouse? Like, no, you're supposed to be.
That's kind of the point.
I mean, I will say in fairness, like the dominant churchy take on it is like, oh, beauty is fading. You know, you just want to serve, serve, serve. Marriage is hard. 1 Corinthians 7 is like definitely saying you should never get married, blah, blah, blah. So I could see how someone would feel like spiritually, quote unquote, pressured to like not want to do stuff. But like, come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Think for yourself un poquito.
Ooh. This jerk is so lucky. Anglican Aesthetics just got to interview Father Gerald McDermott in his book Deep Anglicanism, which I am reading right now.
I've also gotten a bit into Fallout because the original one of the head of the original team has a YouTube channel and he's been talking about game design.
Cute. I don't know if you guys saw my my text that I put in Discord, but I am probably gonna have to leave in like 30 minutes because my Greek 3 classes started and I have to get up at 5 in order to make sure that I make it there on time. I hate learning languages sometimes.
What
I
language
really
is this
do.
for? Hebrew still?
No, I'm done with Hebrew. I
I said
mean,
Greek.
like my semester with Hebrew's done. It's Greek that I have to worry about.
I thought you finished Greek.
No, I finished at Westminster, but I had to redo it when I transferred over to Beeson
How are you getting stressed over a class you took already?
because it's different stuff, and I haven't touched like in-depth Greek exegesis in years, and so like if you don't use it, you lose it.
You mean
And
I'm
I have to
reading
get up
Greek every
early
day?
in order to go take classes, and it sucks. If only I was smarter.
I mean, if only you were.
And no, you got my message on Discord, right? I
Hmm?
think before we started.
Uh, yeah. Do you have to go in like 30 minutes, or do you have to go now?
Yeah, 30 minutes.
Okay, we should be able to wrap up in about 30 minutes,
Swag.
hopefully. So, with that, we'll jump back in. And you guys see the young prince Seth in that trapdoor behind the throne room, behind the throne. Period. Um, Wearing different clothes than you last saw him in, and looking quite nervous.
When I
Too
look
late
at
for what, Seth?
when I look at Seth, is his name placard in red or green?
Wait a second. Yeah. Different clothes, you say?
Is his placard in red and green?
Yeah,
Like in
Do
Call of
you
Duty,
have divine sense?
like in Call of Duty, you look at people and their name pops up, and if they're a main bad guy that's named, it'll be in red.
Right. And
Like,
I mean my divine sense automatically activates just as Isaiah asked, late or late for what? Or too late for what?
So he'll answer, but Jeremiah, you get the same feeling that you have felt around many of the doppelgangers in this city. He answers Isaiah's question. Um, I was supposed to talk to the king because I knew that you three were going to figure things out eventually. And I'm supposed to give you this. And he reaches into his pocket and hands you a scroll that does have the royal seal wax on it.
I meant to talk to the king because I'm talking with everyone.
Uh, I'll take it and open it. If he
Inside
punches me through
is
it, though, I'm going to be mad.
as you open it and unroll it to read it, you see it is a very short letter in very fancy calligraphy, with his simply saying, "This shall be the replacement heir until a better solution can be fitted." And it is signed Sosthenes, which is the name of the king.
Balgraf,
Yes.
what do you make of this?
Using my divine sense, I peer into him.
I'm showing you a scroll.
No, just before I peer into, doppelganger Seth,
Mm-hmm.
and my sense tells me he is not whom we have met.
Mm-hmm.
However, and then he sort of uses the divine sense on the letter.
There's nothing going on there. It's a piece of paper. It's a mimic. No, it's just a piece of paper.
The letter does contain the royal seal.
Man, that's a lot of V's. Oh wait, that's a
Yes.
mouth.
Jacoby had it.
Well, Jacoby had his royal seal.
Or little crown.
Is there more than one?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to look very skeptically at this Seth and back at Balgraf. 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 What are you suggesting?
My immediate instinct is to fight him. Because these doppelgangers, with the exception of the two that we had met earlier, have been a thorn in our side this entire time. But what other choice do we have?
The doppelganger kind of very timidly raises his hand a little bit. I don't really want to be killed. I promise I'm not with that militia.
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 I don't even know what that is. Is that a
He,
girl?
Balgroth instantly casts Zone of Truth over him.
Can you put that in the thing so I can read it?
Oh, yeah.
Just to
Give me
refresh my
You
memory.
had spell slots left? Are you kidding me? I'm out here wasting mine.
On a disc with an egg on it.
Egg,
Egg.
who eggies? Where is it? Ah, here. Booyah.
You
Mhm.
can just get in the pond if you're gonna act like a silly goose.
Is this 15? This is 15, isn't it?
No, this
Yeah,
is Patrick.
yeah, it's a 15-foot radius.
Oh, where are you? You're not in this picture, but we're going to put it there anyway. So it does encompass all of you. Just to make sure. Spell. Okay, so as you cast the spell, can the caster tell if someone has failed or saved the saving throw?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Bogroth, you are acutely aware that this doppelganger chooses to fail and speak the truth to you. And he kind of climbs out of the hatch the rest of the way and stands up in front of you three.
And so I point my blade at him, just pointing it at him, and say, "What explain this militia?"
There are a lot of militias of doppelgangers across the entire world. I know that there are 5 in this continent, and there are. He thinks for a second as he you can see that he is visually panicking to try and answer your question as much as he can. There are 9 in Sione and 5 in Setya, and I actually don't think there are any in the desert continents. I used to be a part of a militia that was in Sione, but I stopped. There's a word for defected. I defected from it officially, and because I didn't want to keep doing that to people. I really didn't want to keep killing people for this stupid, weird, false war that's being perpetuated by someone who he's getting more and more panicked. By someone who calls herself a priest, but I don't think she is a priest. I think she's just weird. So I escaped on a boat and I ended up here, and I could tell that there were fish folk in this kingdom, and I used to pretend to be a fish folk a while ago, so I know about them a good bit. And I found myself here, and the king has a very strong telepathic aura, and I just I wanted to be good. I want to be good for all the horrible things I have been forced to do. And if you guys don't think that I'm fit to be the prince until something else can be found, I acknowledge that and I accept whatever fate you three will put on me. I just want it to be known to you guys and my maker that I tried to be better. I tried to be better. And he kind of falls to his knees as he starts sobbing from this very obvious weight that has been on him for you don't know how long.
Yep Yep's gonna use the monocle on the paper to read over it and see if it's been forged.
It's obviously been forged.
To see if I can make an insight check.
Have you seen another piece of paper with the king's handwriting on it?
No.
You wouldn't
Well,
be able to tell.
good enough for me,
Cool.
Your Majesty.
Balgroth takes a.
Lightly, the last king that misused his power had a very short, tumultuous reign.
He's got a point. He raises his blade and then places it back in its sheath, and he places his right hand upon the lad, and he says, "I see the truth now. I see that your intentions are good, and From as far as we can tell, the king's message vouches for you, and your honesty and your truthfulness vouches for you as well. Rise, Your Excellency.
He kind of very, very slowly stands up.
Now, what I recommend as your first act as king is to give us as much information that you can about this militia, about this war, and about this witch that you can.
Also, first, I may not be a smart kobold, but wouldn't it make more sense if we just hid this body and he pretended to be Jacoby? Because isn't Seth the one who ran away?
Seth is the one that ran away.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be like a lot more palatable to people if like it was just like the same prince and now it's like, oh, the dad's dead, now he's king, rather than like, oh, the king and the prince are dead, brother out of nowhere.
Best to have someone known for being good.
Indeed.
That's
Oh,
what the road needs.
well,
Now, granted, it's a lie, but it's a lie with a good goal. And really, isn't that better for the average person than the truth? Wait a moment.
I'm not going to answer that question. So I would suggest you do as I recommended, sir.
Right. First, I just, you guys, this was planned between myself, the grandfather, and Seth. He recommended I take the form of him because he doesn't want to be here anymore. And according to him, not a lot of people like that guy. And he points to Jacoby. His other brother, I can hopefully amend. Seth gave me some things to say that might make him more docile at the very least. As for the militia in this city are being leaded by it was a doppelganger who was pretending to be a pirate, I believe. And every goal of every militia is to take over and replace the town that they are targeting, to prepare for stupid rain that we've been told about. The militia here was just supposed to infiltrate the royal family, but they went further than that and started becoming citizens as well. I wasn't
You said one of them transformed into a pirate, did he not?
I believe that was their plan, yes.
Do you know where he might be?
I wasn't a part of this militia. I wouldn't know what their exact plans were. I just know that they were the leader was to be a pirate in order to blend in with the civilians, while the others became the royal family to enact certain laws and restrictions on this kingdom.
I see. Well, I should probably take that job up for myself. And he sort of whispers that to himself. Aside from that, I would recommend that you try to root out this militia wherever you find it.
I've been trying. I've been trying. There are other defectors in this city as well. who simply just want to continue the lives of the dead.
Hmm.
As I wanted to do that until I found the royal family. Um, and their problem. The militia are, what's the word? They're thinning. More of them are defecting to just wanting to live. But there are
Good.
still some, and I honestly couldn't tell you where they are. I don't know. The pirate run could probably be very far from here. I believe he was supposed to talk to the royal family first, but I'm not entirely sure.
Well, at least we know that the real one doesn't have a tail anymore, so
I don't
he
know.
might be easy to spot. That aside, I would recommend, I mean, of course, you rightly know that there are those that are still willing to live. I think I might have encountered at least two of them. Keep them safe. I made a promise to keep them, and now that promise is yours.
I'll do my best. I could probably contact them on the hive mind,
Good.
um, if they're open to it still.
Good. Uh, I turn to the others. What else do you think we should do,
Uh,
Isaiah?
Well, I suppose I suppose we've lost our lead at this point.
Right, on the witch. Do you know anyone who might still be a part of the militia who might have a connection to this
Par.
priestess lady you were talking about?
Um, Priestess. She really only communicated with the captains that I believe. She isn't here. I know that much. She would be too powerful to detect if she was here.
Hmm.
Um, but I know that the plan was to make way towards Setya for a very specific powerful town that she wants to take control of. So she would probably be through Sione by now if she is continuing with her plans.
Mm.
Hmm.
And so, in order to get to Setia, which is where you said that she might be headed, we'd be going in which direction?
Um, East through
Hmm.
Sione or on a boat around the continent.
Mm.
oh no, I want to go through Sione. There's someone there.
And it's important for me too. So, I guess our next route is Sione then.
Sione it is.
I would also recommend. I tried. I really did try to stop this before it was distributed. You three are going to be wanted when the sun rises. I did try to stop the distribution of wanted posters, but they were printed too fast before I found out.
Well, you are the king.
I suppose we'll have to miss your coronation.
I would be able to lift the wanted status, but it would take me a few days. I am somewhat versed in how um, these sort of things are gone through, but I would be able to lift it over time.
I think it would be best if we gathered our things and left for the time being.
Yes.
By the
I
way,
would
what should
I
we
would
know
intend hopefully a full pardon later, but we would need to leave.
what should we, when not calling you Seth, what would we call you?
That's understandable.
That's
Doppelgangers don't
strange to me.
really doppelgangers don't really get our own names. We're never given one. Um, I once had a name that I really liked. Stinge. I liked that name.
Well, Lord Stinge, rule well.
I'll I'll give it my best.
That's all you can.
That's all you can. The king believed in you, and Seth believed in you, and so I suggest we will as well.
Things normally have what's that called when you have a title after your name? That's like a thing you've done, like a deed.
In attribution?
Whatever that means. About Stinge the Repentant.
Hmm. Fitting. I guess as we're leaving, I go and grab Jacoby's unconscious body by the neck and drag it out to the courtyard.
I fully thought we had
As
decapitated
you're
him.
dragging him out, Stinge kind of speaks up. I could take care of that in a less messy way. And he kind of looks down at the trail of blood you've left on the rug.
Hmm.
It's probably best, yes.
Sure. Alrighty then. And he just unceremoniously drops the body.
Stinge kind of not crawls, but creeps over to the body and kind of crouches down beside it. I hope you three don't think all doppelgangers are bad. I know that there's a lot of proof against us, and I know that a lot of followers of Zito don't really get that much, congratulations or ceremony. But some of us do try to follow the original tenets still, even if they're not taught that much anymore.
What changed?
Zato. A lot of old doppelgangers and just old legends in general say that Zato was a god of indulgence and joy, or finding joy in indulgence at least. And then this cult of non-doppelgangers popped up. And I never heard of anyone other than doppelgangers worshipping Zito.
Hmm.
And they were controlled by this three-headed thing into warping my creator into this distrust of overindulgence, too much all the time.
Hmm.
Interesting.
And a lot of doppelgangers hear those voices and find them true.
Hmm. Well, I know from the ones that I have encountered that there are some that are good. There are some that simply, as you said, want to live their lives and help those who have fallen asleep. And so I want you, and he points directly at his chest, to be one of the good ones.
Hold up.
I know. Trust me. Do it. Prove yourself, and you will change the perspective of doppelgangers around you.
I'll try.
That's what it means to be a good king. And basically, he says that, sort of lifts up his chin a little bit more, and then gets up and begins to walk out. Because we do probably need to get going, especially before the sun rises.
So yeah, do all three of you leave?
Why not?
You guys walk out, and it's past midnight by now, so the curfew is in ordinance right now.
We gotta
Um,
back to get our stuff and then get out of here.
Yeah, you guys make your way to the inn, and that's where we will end the session for tonight. And I thank you guys for playing, and I hope you enjoyed this session, and I hope you enjoyed watching this session. Because I know you guys all watch these back, right? For note taking?
Yeah.
And I'll see
Not
you
for
all.
note taking, for entertainment.
I'll see you all next week. Bye.
Wait.